everybody. Welcome back to Thrive Live. Today we have Tiffany Harris, and I would like to bring Jason in to tell us a little bit about Tiffany.
Hey, Beth. Hey, Tiffany. Hope all is well today. So I'm really excited to have Tiffany on today. We met Tiffany, Ray and I met Tiffany at the World Cannabis Conference in Atlanta a couple of weeks ago. And we were really impressed with Tiffany because she has some really interesting background and a really interesting story that we want to talk about. Tiffany is a U.S. Army vet, and we love our veterans. So that's obviously a great story just in itself. And we want to thank her for her service. Secondly, she's also an epilepsy survivor, and she's been managing her epilepsy successfully for the last 2 years. And one of the things that she's been doing to manage her epilepsy is she's been using CBD oil. As many of you know, the cannabis market and the CBD oil market for cannabis is just is expanding exponentially across the U.S. Excuse me. And there's people that are on both sides of the argument as it relates to pro CBD and against CBD. And so we wanted to talk with Tiffany really about two things. One, her use of CBD to control her epilepsy. And then two, we're going to talk a little bit about the business that she founded and she has, which is Next Phase Communications. So thanks, Tiffany, for being on, and we really appreciate having you.
Hi, Tiffany.
Thank you. I'm definitely grateful being here. This is my first time, and it was a pleasure meeting you at the conference. We did share a lot of things together, and it's also great to meet you, Beth, and you will love me today.
Excellent. So, Tiffany, tell us a little bit about sort of your situation with epilepsy and what you were doing to try to manage that, and then how did you come to use CBD to help you with your issues with epilepsy?
Okay. Well, I was diagnosed with epilepsy in November of 2014. My case was a rare case. Most people are born with epilepsy. Unlike me, I was not born with it. I had a traumatic event to happen, and my brain waves just went haywire. In the beginning, I did seek out a specialist here in my hometown of Memphis, Tennessee, and they could not tell me where it came from. So I was first prescribed Keppra, and that's usually the main medicine that most seizure patients have to take is Keppra. And first it started off with 1,000 milligrams. Then I kept on having seizures, and they bumped it up to 1,500 milligrams. And those pills are super huge. And then I started researching certain side effects like, okay, why am I getting upset? Why am I getting angry? Why I'm getting nervous? And when I look at those side effects, I was like, when I researched, I'm like, okay, that's just me. So I sought another neurologist at Vanderbilt in Nashville. They came to find out that my epilepsy was due to a traumatic event with my a couple of months before my mother passed suddenly from breast cancer. So then they started the treatment. They kept me on Keppra, and I was done for a moment. I had absent seizures until a year ago. It came back again, and they put me on more medicine. And I decided to take upon myself to see, okay, I've heard a lot about CBD, and it was a lot of CBD shops popping up. And like I said, with my stories, to each its own, I will say consult with your doctor first to see if this is right for you. So with the CBD, I noticed that the benefits of it, because the first thing I thought was, okay, this is related to marijuana and this is bad. I don't want to get tested for it. I don't know if I'm going to get, have hallucinations. But then once I did the research and everything, I was like, okay, let me try the droplets. I tried the droplets. 4 weeks straight without taking one of my primary medicines. And I noticed that I didn't feel as anxious anymore. Um, my rage went down a little bit, but I still kept with the Keppra. And then after that, I like, let me go out on a limb and just try not to take the medicine and just stick solely to CBD. Now, this is basically my journey. Um, Others may have to consult with their doctor
Sure.
first. But after I started doing the CBD drops, I do it like twice at night because that's where I take my heaviest medicine. And ever since then, as of 2014, this past January, I was diagnosed 2 years seizure free. And I owe that all to CBD.
Yeah, I mean, it has such a stigma around it. I myself have a shoulder injury, and I'm staving off a surgery because I just don't have time for the surgery right now. But there's only so much ibuprofen I can take. There's only so much pain medicine I can take, or and there's so many other side effects with different medications. And I have a CBD lotion that I use, that I put on,
Oh,
and it's
okay.
helped me immensely. I mean, ice wasn't cutting it, heat wasn't cutting it, physical therapy wasn't giving me a lot of joy, so um and it's there's no THC in it, what I use.
Mhm.
So it's not that I'm receiving a drug. It's just that my shoulder feels better, and I can go another, maybe a month or so before I have to have this surgery
That's
that I
great.
just don't have time to do.
That's
So I
great.
fully believe in it. Absolutely. I'm so glad that you found relief. I know that with epilepsy, I have a friend whose husband was diagnosed with epilepsy in his late 30s, early 40s, and in the UK when we used to live over there. And, he wasn't allowed to drive. And I'm sure you experienced that as well when you have epilepsy and it's active and you're experiencing, is it, when you're experiencing seizures, then you're
Yes.
not able to drive. You're not allowed to drive because, God forbid that happens while you're driving. Another
Hmm.
friend here, their medication, my friend's husband, his medication is not covered by insurance. So it's like $700 a month, and it's the only medicine that helps him. So I can absolutely see looking to other measures in order to relieve, whatever it is that we're going through. Absolutely.
Yes. And and you just pointed out, and thank you for pointing that out. It's always a bad stigma against CBD. And when I realized the process of it, how you abstract the CBD from the actual plant,
Hmm.
I was like, okay, this is great. And it's still kind of a touchy subject, but I do believe in the next year or so, people like myself is actually going to research CBD and starting to use and incorporate it in their daily lives. But it
Hmm.
has been a great help for me.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. My orthopedic, I just want to say, my orthopedic actually said, like, we can't give you any more cortisone shots. Like, you're past the point. We can't give you any more. And his nurse practitioner said, have you tried CBD yet? And that's where I was like, oh, is it okay? Can I do that? I'm a suburban mom. Do I want to do this? Do I want to do this CBD? you
yeah.
know?
Well, the thing that people need to do is, they need to research about CBD oil, because there's, some very important things that if you're leery about using CBD oil, you need to know. First of all, you can have a CBD oil that has THC, and THC is the active component in marijuana that produces the hallucinogenics or makes you feel relaxed or whatever happens to you when you're on when you're using, sorry, cannabis. I
or
apologize.
or eat a whole
Cannabis.
or eat a whole chocolate cake.
Yeah.
Correct. Cannabis.
You know,
Yeah.
And then the other thing is you can have CBD without THC.
yeah.
It has nothing else that really is responsible for making you feel any other way. And so, just because you're using CBD oil doesn't mean that there's some huge stigma that you're also, using THC. But if you want to use CBD with THC, you can. But there's nothing in it that should make you feel inappropriate about using it if you're using CBD without, the THC element to it. So there's so many things that, as you begin to do more and more research about cannabis and CBD, it's really remarkable, all of the things that it can do. And so I'm not a user of cannabis or CBD or THC, because this will be the really weird story. It makes me incredibly sick. I can't, the taste of it just does something to my stomach, and it makes me violently ill. So while I am supportive, and I think it's something that we need to look at to make sure that people have access to it, I just get violently ill from it, and I have no ability to do it because of the taste. But like I said, do your research and find out what's going on.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Tiffany, tell me about the next phase. Tell me about your company.
Okay, the next phase, communications, is a public relations company. We deal with reputation management, social media management, and also our big thing is crisis communications, because now we live in a social media world where your opinion or picture can be taken out of context, and pretty much your reputation is done. So what I do with my clients, I set up their social media pages. I make sure they're monitored with good content. I create very good content to get the audience engaged, maybe whether it's a challenge or, say a couple of things just to keep engaging the audience on their social media pages. And also, I do monitor if, how many people are looking at it at a certain time, what they're doing, and also looking at different negative comments and addressing them off the page, because what usually happens is a lot of, even celebrities, someone says something negative and then they'll say something negative back, and then they screenshot it, and next thing you know, it's all over the news,
Yeah.
and that's when the apology is issued. That's one of the things, and especially my specialty is crisis communications. I last year received my MBA in conflict and negotiation management at Trident International University. Crisis communications is one of those things a lot of people don't take into account. Now they do, due to 2020 COVID. Everybody had to revamp everything. Like, our world was flipped
Yeah.
upside down.
Right.
And the stronger the companies that survive, I am pretty sure, this is my opinion, they had a crisis communication plan on
Sure.
hand. So what I do with my clients, whether they're big business, small business, or individually, if something comes up, I always tell them we have to act now within 24 to 48 hours. Because
Mhm.
after 48 hours, then it's out there. Your reputation is pretty much hanging on by a string. So, what I necessarily do is prepare them for a crisis. And definitely when the crisis comes, they're able to go through it, and their reputation is solidified instead of kind of freaking out in a sense. But definitely reputation management, crisis communication, social media management, and of course, all of this is me dealing with strategy, because in social media, your reputation can be for moments, and that's it. And then with my company, what we do, we solidify your reputation for years. I always say Coca-Cola is marketing. The things that's behind Coca-Cola is public relations. And as we know, Coca-Cola has a long-standing brand, and they went through, competition and everything else. Yay! And I love Coke too.
That's actually what's in my teacup, to be honest.
Oh wow! You know what? I should have grabbed me some Coke, but I just left them warm, so I was like, oh okay. But that's what I try to do for my clients, to make sure they have a solid reputation that stand against the test of time, whether it's crisis, the ever changing climate, or new, or different demographics.
Well, it's interesting that you said that. Sorry, Beth. It's interesting that you said that, because one of the things we talked about last week was the fact that there has been a number of changes within leadership positions of chief human resources officers across the country. And one of the reasons was their inability to be able to effectively manage things that happened with COVID. And a lot of that revolved around appropriate communication. So I think, Tiffany, what you're talking about is something that's super important right now. If a company doesn't have an appropriate response plan to what's happening, or doesn't know how to communicate to their employees, the skill set you have and that you're offering is super important for companies to be able to have and develop internally. And I think that's why your company has really the right things to be able to offer folks that need that kind of skill set.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I forgot to tell you, my company color is inspired by two things. First, this is the color of epilepsy awareness. So I wanted to show anybody that's dealing with it, even though you have epilepsy, you can go to do great things. So that's why it's purple. And also, purple is my daughter's favorite color.
So, that's the best reason. The daughter's favorite color. See, I like that. Okay, Tiffany, how do people get a hold of you to use your services and pay you and to get you money? Because we all have to make money in this world. We want to make sure that we get you some clients. How does that work?
Okay, well, you can reach me. I have my website. It is www.nextphase, and it's spelled PHAZE now.com. So you can reach me there, or you can email me at nextphasenow@gmail. So you can reach me at those two places. I will definitely encourage you to go to the website. It has everything about the company, along with my social media links.
And if you know me and you want to get a hold of Tiffany, just send me an email at jason@Thrive HR Consulting, and I will get your requests for information or to contact Tiffany through my email. So, all right. Thanks, Tiffany. We really appreciate you being on, and we'll check in again and get you scheduled back on and see what's going on with Next Phase, down the road here. So thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much, and thank you, and you guys have a great day.
You
too.
Thank
you, Tiffany. Nice talking with you.
Nice talking with you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.